Shrine Keeper. You mentioned there being more beings like the four kings. Who were they?
You wish to know of the other lords? Rest at the bonfire, and let me tell you the story of Seath the Scaleless. High above the shining halls of Anor Londo stands a place unlike any other. A fortress of knowledge, sealed with countless sorceries, the Duke's archives. Within its endless halls of books, crystals, and madness dwells its master. A dragon not of stone, nor of kin, but of betrayal. Seath the Scaleless. Born of the ancient race of archdragons who ruled the world before fire, before gods. Seath came into this world marked by difference. Where his brethren bore the mighty stone scales that made them impervious to harm, Seath had none. No stone to shield him, no scales to grant him the immortality of his kin. Instead, pale, soft flesh, a creature of vulnerability. But where Seath lacked the gift of stone, he was born with another, the mysterious power of moonlight. Magic coursed through his blood, a power unseen among dragons. And in this strange gift, Seath saw a path. A chance to seize the power and immortality denied to him by fate. When the Lords of Fire, Gwyn, Nito, the Witch of Izalith, rose to challenge the dragons, it was Seath who betrayed his own kind. He revealed their greatest secret, that the archdragon's immortality stemmed from their scales. And with that revelation, the Lord struck. Lightning rained from Gwyn's hands, and the era of the dragons burned away. For this betrayal, Seath was rewarded beyond any measure. Gwyn named him Duke, made him kin by marriage, and granted him a fragment of the Lord's soul itself. He was gifted the royal archives, a tower of forbidden knowledge, where he was free to pursue his dark research without limits. But Seath's hunger could not be sated with titles, nor power among men. In the aftermath of the war, he took from the dragon's hoard the primordial crystal, a legendary artifact said to hold the secret of life itself. With it, Seath began his dark experiments, twisting life, warping souls, seeking endlessly for that which had been denied to him at birth, true immortality. A traitor to his race, a monster to the world, and in his endless search, a prisoner of his own madness. But even in his madness, Seath's legacy did not end with betrayal and experiments. Somewhere along his dark path, Seath sired offspring. One of them, Shira, Knight of Filianor, sworn protector of Gwyn's last daughter, and perhaps the only being in existence to speak of Seath with something resembling respect. The records are scarce, but her bloodline traces back to the pale dragon himself. Another, more infamous child, was Priscilla, a strange being, half dragon, half something else, born with powers that terrified even the gods, the ability of life hunt, the art of devouring life itself. Priscilla was shunned, feared, and finally cast away, sealed inside the painted world of Ariamis, never to walk the world outside. While the world whispered of his children, Seath cared little for bloodlines, or for power, or even for his standing among the gods. His obsession remained singular, the secret of immortality. Deep in the Duke's archives, surrounded by books and crystal, Seath delved into the forbidden. He found a bond between souls and crystals. In those glimmering facets, he saw vessels, a way to manipulate the very essence of life. From this obsession, the art of crystal sorceries was born. Sorceries that could pierce armor, rend flesh, and shatter sanity. He even created a crystal ember, a tool to infuse weapons with this arcane power, knowledge he passed to the giant blacksmith of the gods. But Seath did not stop at mere weapons. He twisted men into mindless crystal soldiers, brought golems to life with enslaved souls, and filled his archives and the caves beneath them with a growing, suffocating mass of crystals. The pinnacle of his twisted craft was the moonlight butterfly, a creature of ethereal beauty and lethal power, born from Seath's experiments, radiating his moonlight and sorcery, and for himself, a weapon worthy of his obsession, the moonlight greatsword, a blade that shone with the cold light of the moon and pulsed with Seath's cursed magic. A legacy not of honor, nor of family, but of madness crystallized into eternity. For all his titles, power, and standing among the gods, Seath the Scaleless remained a creature bound by his obsessions and a prisoner of his own making. As a Duke of Anorlando, Seath commanded his own personal order, the Channelers, robed sorcerers marked by the six-eyed helms they wore, said to compensate for Seath's lack of sight. These Channelers served as his eyes, hands, and agents across Lordran, hunting, gathering, experimenting. Wherever they roamed, tragedy followed, for the Channelers' true purpose was to seize victims for Seath's unspeakable experiments. And in his twisted research, Seath finally succeeded. By binding his soul to the primordial crystal, Seath achieved the immortality he craved. His body could no longer be destroyed, his wounds would heal, so long as the crystal remained unbroken. His very breath turned into a deadly crystalline curse, a reflection of the corruption that consumed him. But this victory brought no peace. The empty void within him, the gnawing loneliness of a malformed dragon rejected by his own kind, only deepened. His mind fractured, his envy turned to madness, and in that madness, his experiments plunged into utter depravity. The Duke's archives, once a beacon of knowledge, became a twisted prison of horrors. Its halls now stalked by warped serpent men, failed creations lurking in the shadows. Its cells filled with the Pisaka, pitiful creatures that were once holy maidens of Guinevere, twisted by Seath's experiments into mindless, serpentine monstrosities. A sick mockery of life, sealed within the archive's depths. Even Dark Sun Gwyndolin, the last remaining deity of Anorlando, turned a blind eye, choosing to confine Seath within his archives, surrounding them with divine seals, rather than challenge the madness of the immortal dragon. But Seath's reach did not end at his crystal prison. His channelers roamed free, abducting the living, feeding the nightmare, all in service to a dragon who, in his desperate quest to escape death, had forgotten how to live. In the ages following Gwyn's sacrifice, the gods of Anorlando faded into legend. Gwyn's firstborn was cast down and exiled, and most of the deities abandoned the city of the gods, vanishing into obscurity. But Seath, the Scaleless, remained, buried in his madness, chained to his archives, a relic of a dying age, blinded by obsession, estranged from the world outside. When the chosen undead rang the bells of awakening, crossed Sen's fortress, and earned passage to Anorlando, they became part of a cycle far older and darker than they could imagine. Tasked by Kingseeker Frampt with linking the first flame, the undead ventured deep into the Duke's archives, confronting Seath in his domain. But Seath, an immortal bound to the primordial crystal, could not be slain. The chosen undead fell, captured, imprisoned within the twisted labyrinth of the archives. And yet, they escaped. Braving the dangers of the archives and the treacherous crystal cave, the undead found the primordial crystal itself, the heart of Seath's immortality. As Seath arrived to defend his prize, the undead shattered the crystal, and with it, Seath's shield against death. For the first and only time, the scaleless dragon bled, and with a final, brutal battle, Seath fell. the chosen undead claimed his fragment of the Lord's soul, and with it, ended the twisted legacy of a dragon who had betrayed his own kind, only to betray himself. Seath's death marked the end of a mad pursuit and a dark chapter in Lordran's history. But for the chosen undead, the journey was far from over.